Yeah.
It is now. Thank you. Good morning. Thank you very much for coming for Apcert Security Day. This is presented by this session today. Security Day is presented jointly with APNIC and Apcert. You all are very familiar with APNIC, and Adley here is in charge of the security at the APNIC. And fortunately, we have a very good relationship and collaboration with Adley and his team. So thank you very much. We're very happy to be here and present this Security Day. Apcert is a coalition of the forum of certs, national and leading certs in Asia Pacific. We have 19 economies, 32 teams, 27 teams from 19 economies as a member of the Apcert. And we're collaboratively response incident, coordinating incident response, and also the most important, incident response is an important thing, but we also do prevention and also improvement of the ecosystem. And that mission is very important to do with the network operators. So we're very happy to come here and then talk about our activities and talk about what we see. The session is going to be starting from the threat landscape briefing. So we're going to start from global view of the threat landscape, that from the security operations and security experts and the CERTs view, and then drill down to Asia Pacific view. And then after that, we're going to have an incident response case studies. So that will give you an idea how you can work with the national CERTs or Apcert to respond to incident response. And then in the afternoon, starting from 2 o'clock, we're going to have moving to this prevention and improving an ecosystem part of the mission. So we're going to have an internet healthness and the metrics. It's about the measurement of the healthness of the internet. And so that's starting from 2 o'clock. And then the last session is going to be wrap up with a variety of presentations from the Apricot community, APNIC members, communities, and CERTs. It's going to be very interactive. So we're very looking forward to having an active, interactive session. So feel free to jump in, ask questions, and start the discussion. We're very much looking forward to having the productive session today. Adley, do you want to add something?
Yeah. Morning, everyone. My name is Adley Wahid, security specialist at APNIC. So first of all, thank you for coming today, and I'd like to once again thank Apcert for helping us to have this session. Yuri has said a lot of stuff already, but I'll just emphasize on just 2 points why we have this collaboration. One is because if you have ever used the WHOIS database for, when you have need to contact somebody somewhere with regards to an abuse or an incident, the Apcert community can be of help. Especially, they do a lot of coordination within and a particular economy. Apcert is growing. I think they're going to have more members coming up. And as Yuri said, they are not just doing incident response, but doing a lot of proactive security initiative inside their own economies, and I think they're going to be mentioning it from time to time. We have a lot of them here in this room today, so take the opportunity to get to know them, exchange business cards for future work or coordination or I don't know, collaboration and whatnot. And I think that's basically it. If you are interested to know more of what we do in terms of security at APNIC, I'm around as well for the whole day, so look forward to getting to know most of you. So I think we can kick off the session. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Jeff?
Good morning. My name is Jeffrey Tonnen, and I'll be your chair for the first section, the cyber threat landscape. Now, before we can do anything, we need to be able to know how bad things are. And in this session, we're going to know about how bad things are. We'll have three speakers. We'll have Mr. Arnold Yoon from Dell Security Works, talking about the global threats, and then back into the regional area. It's good to know about what's happening, because if you're too concentrated on your own network, you may not know what's happening outside. Then Mr. Henry Yu from TW Apcert will be talking about social and mobile issues, and Ms. Zhu Yun Tian will be talking from CNCERT-CC will be talking about it. Now, I would like, if it's possible, to, when you come for questions, to line up to the mic, state your name, state your organization, and then speak slowly because there's people typing, trying to figure out how to type online. Thank you very much. So we're just going to wait for the first speaker. If the first speaker is ready, please welcome Mr. Arnold Yoon from Dell Security Works.
Okay, thank you, Jeff. Good morning. Honored to be the first speaker on the first session. It'll be a kind of introduction to start our security discussion. Again, my name is Arnold Yoon from Dell Secure Works, not Security Works. No, just kidding. I work for a team called Counter Threat Unit. You'll hear me referring it to CTU a lot. And the very first slide will be talking about our team, just to let you know how this data is presented. So a brief agenda, talk about our team, and from there I'll explain where this data set comes from, and you'll see about 5 slides or graphs that we have delivered to present what the current landscape looks like. And I will try to wrap up with my own conclusion and hope it initiate some good discussion. So CTU, not only as a introduction to our team, I don't know you can really see it well on the slide, but there are areas that we focus on. So the graphs or statistics that I'm going to present today is mostly from the orange circle saying Managed Security Service Alert Data Analysis. So we are also a MSS service provider, but those are generated by our own countermeasures that we have developed from malware analysis, reverse engineering, incident response engagement, hunting engagement, etc. So that's how we collected this data, and I'll start to present those data to you. So before jumping into the actual data, I'm going to explain what kind of data, how much data we are talking today. So for Dell Secure Works itself, we are handling 85 billion events per day. And it is from about 70 different economies and multiple industry verticals. That 85 billion are not only security events, but also network-related events. So we need to actually narrow it down to security events and what is more severe or minimize the false positives to actually have our analysts take a look at it and sometimes escalate it to our clients. So there is a platform that we call CTP, Counter Threat Platform, that will narrow the 85 billion events down to 6 billion events. And those are logged and stored, and most of our data we're going to talk today is from that part. And out of those 6 billion, about 8,000 events are concluded or defined as suspicious and malicious events. And that's when the human, our analysts, comes in and take a look at it. So the CTP part is the automated correlation, which is developed by our developers using some logics, how to intercorrelate different events. And those are now being reviewed by the analysts, and about half of them, 4,000 events, identified as security incidents, actual incidents, and get escalated. So the data today is about a month worth of data that I'm going to present. And I did my best to use the latest data. So it'll be February, last month, 5 data that we're going to talk about. You'll see multiple malware names in the slides. It does not mean malware matches with one countermeasure that I mentioned. One malware could have multiple countermeasures. And you'll hear me talking about malicious IP or offending IP or hostile IP addresses. In terms of the direction, or depending on how the countermeasure is written, either the source IP could be the offending IP address, or the destination IP could be the offending IP address. So for example, malware X is phoning home. So let's say we have a countermeasure detecting a phoning home type of packet or traffic. Then definitely it is going outbound. The source IP will be the infected IP address, and the destination outside of our network will be either the C2 server or a health checking server to see whether that infected bot is still alive. We see a lot of droppers. So malware is not just downloaded once. Even the backdoor pulls down additional payloads after the infection. So in that case, the countermeasure, the source IP, which is sending that additional payload to the destination, which is an infected IP address, will be the case. So I hope that makes sense. And at the almost end of the slide, I'm going to present the AP region-specific data, starting from the global data set. And we have to admit that we have relatively low visibility in this region than other areas. And we're in progress to expand our visibility in this region. And that's why I believe this is a good initiative and collaborative effort to understand what we're doing and what we can provide you and how we can work together. So the last bullet point, the global footprint really helps you to secure your data services or IT services from the emerging threats that we see today. Okay. With my last statement, the understanding the threat landscape will give you a good opportunity to prioritize your mitigation strategy. Without that, you're going to just chase whatever new vulnerability is coming up, whatever new malware that is reported in the media. You're going to just chase and do the mitigation strategy without knowing what is the real threat or risk to your environment. Honestly, it is a very broad question to ask, so what do you see these days? What kind of malware activity do you see these days? It is a very broad question, hard to answer, but if you ask me, like, what do you see in this specific banking Trojan? Where is it mostly located? Whether it is, have you seen any incidents in the AP region or in the North American region? So it is easier to address those type of questions, but it is still important for us to understand what is going around and to be more accurate and to be more effective on your mitigation strategy, this kind of data that I'm going to start to present now will be very important. Okay, do we have any questions so far? It was a kind of introduction or explanation of data set that we have that we're going to start talking about now. No? Okay, let's start to jump in to the actual data here. So the color legend on the right top is actually sorted by the volume of events or malicious traffic that we're seeing. Please remember, we're starting from a global point of view. So globally, we see Fiesta exploit kit being the top, nuclear exploit kit being the next, Darlow's worm, and followed by. So the y-axis shows how many of clients or organizations are impacted. The x-axis shows the number of events. So if you see a malware which is affecting a lot of clients up there, and it is generating significant amount of events, it could mean that globally most or this malware is widely spread and it is very active. The second red circle, which is on the right corner, it shows, okay, much less clients are affected, but it is highly active. There's a lot of volume coming up there. And I believe that's Apcert Trojan. And the bottom circle that I have highlighted is the butterfly bot, which has much less clients affected, but also very effective. So in the quadrant view, if you see malware on the right under part, actually the butterfly bot is not an APT attack, it is more like an info stealer, but if there's an APT attack that we detect, that will be in that category. It is very targeted, very limited number of clients will be affected, but a lot of events going on there. So for the specific malware that we're talking here is the Fiesta exploit kit that has been on our top 3 for, I think, almost about a year. And Apcert Trojan, it is known to distribute additional malwares. We are going to show you that on the later slide. And Butterfly bot only affects 1.69% of our clients, but very active. So globally, the upper graph shows you the February top 10 malware. The bottom one, the second one, shows you the January one. So we're comparing month by month. So Fiesta exploit kit is still number 1 in both months, but when you see the second one, you can see the nuclear exploit kit has just emerged in February. Nuclear exploit kit was never seen on the top 10 in January. So immediately we know that, okay, for some reason, this new exploit kit is an emerging threat for this month. Darlow's worm, which were the second in January, is still being there as the third one. Gozy Trojan, number 8 or 7, the third one from the bottom in February, was never seen in January. It has been a long-known Trojan, but we can see it is re-emerging this month, or last month, February. The Sweet Orange exploit kit, which is the second one from the bottom in January, has disappeared in the February graph. So for another reason, maybe a successful mitigation or successful takedown, is showing up to see that decrease comes up. So far we're talking about the global perspective. Now, I'm going to present you a graph that we have categorized those events per vertical. So I know it'll be hard to read on the slide, but we have uploaded this slide online, so please refer to it. Apcert Trojan. So let me first start to explain how to read this chart. So the black ones, the black circles are showing that it is not very minimally concentrated in that vertical. As it goes to blue, yellow, red, it means that malware activity is highly concentrated or only seen in that vertical. And the pie chart, you can say, if you see a half colored part, that means up to 50% of that vertical, that exploit kit is affected. I mean, in the clients, 50% of that vertical are affected, or organizations are affected. If you see a quarter, up to 25% are being affected. So something notable here is there is only two red circles. One is the Apcert downloader Trojan in the healthcare sector. So up to 25% of the organizations in the healthcare sector is seeing the Apcert Trojan, and in other verticals, you can see it is minimal. Apcert for last month has been highly targeting the healthcare sector. So if you are in a business of healthcare, you can probably say, okay, last month we have seen this high activity, we should start to pay attention to it. Actually, Apcert Trojan downloads the direct banking Trojan. Direct banking Trojan is followed by the Apcert downloader. So you can see the number 6, which is the quarter-colored yellow circle there, is actually direct banking Trojan. So it shows you that by the Apcert downloader Trojan, it is less concentrated in the healthcare sector, but it is followed by the infection of additional malware. Okay? It is Fiesta, Nuclear, or Darlow's malware are well spread across all verticals. So this gives an example of how to prioritize your mitigation strategy. Okay, so we convert these activities also in geolocation of the offending or malware malicious IP addresses. So just as we have seen, again, the color legends are sorted by the volume: Fiesta exploit kit, Nuclear exploit kit, and Apcert, and so on. So for example, the gray dots, which are Nuclear exploit kit, is highly concentrated in European economies or countries. For the Fiesta and Apcert, it is observed in the AP region. So regionally, in vertical perspective, it'll give you an idea what to handle first. Okay. So now we're going to jump into regional statistics. So compare this graph to the global graph. So we have been talking that, okay, the top 10 malwares that we see globally are Fiesta kit, Fiesta exploit kit, Nuclear exploit kit, Apcert, and so on. But those are not really widely seen here in this map. So the third one, which is Mnemonic Trojan, is most widely spread malware in the AP region, which never has shown up in the global view. All infrastructure is mostly distributed from the mid to eastern AP region. I'm sorry, again, probably the colors are really hard to read, but I'll try to explain the data analysis that we have already done. The first malicious code or malware, which is named as Almanahe virus, is rarely seen in other regions, but very highly concentrated in South Korea. And the Zeus, Citadel Trojan are mostly from the mainland China. So these graphs, which are different, if you're really just relying on a global threat landscape that we have talked before, you're going to probably miss these actual threats that you're seeing in your region. Okay? So those are the examples of statistics that we can generate. We can expand it even further. I can keep going on, like I can do like clients versus vertical analysis. We can narrow it down to economy level analysis. We can expand it to make a comparison between global to regional to country level. So there are a lot of analysis that we can do, but the key part here is to understand what is really your risk where you are located. So I hope it gives you an idea the importance or value of understanding the threat landscape, not just by chasing down the highly media attentioned malware or vulnerability. Again, as I mentioned, our data set that we have showed you as a regional view is kind of limited because those are only offending IPs that we see globally. It is still premature to say, okay, in AP region, this vertical is targeted or being highly targeted by this malware. So that's why we're trying to increase our visibility here. And also, that's why we are also looking for some resources to hire who understands this region better. So that's my message, and definitely coordination is the key for understanding each other and for us to provide a better threat landscape to you. Okay, I hope that was a kind of brief, short introduction session for you, and I'll take it back to Jeff.
Thank you very much, Mr. Arnold Yoon from Dell Secure Works. Thank you very much. If you do not mind, could you sit down, just in case people will have some questions later on. Thank you very much. Apcert is very happy to be able to, very glad to have Dell Secure Works as a supporting member to be able to help on this. Every IP that you see or have heard about is a potential call to a network, okay, is a potential issue that needs to be taken care of. So this is how come certs and ISPs and telecom networks could cooperate with each other when that incident happens. Next, we're going to have Mr. Henry Yu from TWN Cert, and welcome, Henry Yu.
Good morning, everyone. Now, looks like this is my first time using Mac because this is not my notebook. So I'm sorry for the delay. And all right. So today I'm going to share with you the cyber threat trends in Taiwan. So in this presentation, first I will spend a minute to briefly introduce our NICST, the highest cybersecurity organization in Taiwan's government. And then I will go through 3 trends that we found in Taiwan. First being the more aggressive email info collections, and second is even more wilder contract invasions. And the third is the mobile scan, particularly in the messaging app scans. So the NICST stands for the National Information and Communication Security Task Force, and it's established in January 2001, and it's cabinet level of the task force. And it's convened by Vice Premier, the executive yuan, and its steering committee is comprised of the central government CISOs and various agency CISOs and the deputy director of NSB, that's the National Security Bureau. It's like NSA of America, and all the experts. And under this task force, actually there's a major working group for cybersecurity related tasks, execution and the coordination among the agencies, and how the Apcert fits in this organization. And we are the task force's service center. So the service center, we are known for the ICST domestically. That's the Information and Communication Security Technology Center. And under this center, we place the role of a national CERT. That's the TWN CERT. So if you ask the Taiwan government agencies, well, what's TWN CERT? Probably nobody knows what TWN CERT is. But if you ask the Taiwan agency employees, say, what's ICST? And everybody knows ICST. So, but actually, we are really the same organizations. So, after this brief introduction, and we will go into the cyber threat trends in Taiwan. Being the first one is even more aggressive email info collections. So, you know, hackers likes accounts and passwords, more the better. So hackers using various methods, collect email addresses, stealing account and passwords, and then use the stolen account and, use the stolen account and email account and password, collect even more email account and passwords, then using that to collect even more, steal account and password, and so on and so on and so on. And they do this repeatedly. So you're starting wondering why they are collecting so many email account and passwords. And they are not really using it to do anything. So we are wondering about that too. So actually they collect email from the government agencies and academic units, government contractors, private sectors, and many individuals. As time passed, we believe they collect like hundreds or millions of email account and passwords in Taiwan. So I was using this case to elaborate this cyber threat trends. So that's one of the cases we handled. And this overview graph is hackers using stepping stones, that's victim 1, and control that victim 1 and hack into the victim too and put a phishing website on the victim too. And then hackers sending the emails, the social engineering email, phishing emails, and with malicious attachments to the victims. Actually, it's selected victims for like government employee or higher government officials. Roughly like 118 phishing emails. Then trick them to log in Google accounts. So what does this work? So we actually confiscated the stepping stones, then doing the research on it. So the hacker actually sending 118 phishing emails via the stepping stone, mainly impersonated famous politicians to lure people to hit malicious link and store their Gmail accounts and passwords. So you were getting some kind of email like someone in the Google Plus mention you. And then you will say, whoa, maybe, for example, it's not real. For example, the President Ma mentioned me on the Google Plus. You are probably wondering, why the president mentioned me? So you want to go into the Google account and hit it. So many people will hit the link to try to see what's on the Google Plus, who's mentioning, why he's mentioning you in it. So that's fall into the trick. So there's a total of 60 recipients, mostly are government officials, and the business and private email accounts are being stolen by this way. So why are they stealing government officials' email account and passwords? They want to get into their accounts and read through their emails. So they steal the victim's email account and passwords and read through all the contents, and then using the account and send the malicious to other victims in his contact list. Okay. So why are they doing this? Think about it. Most of us by today knows you don't open strangers' email. Sender is the stranger. You don't open their emails. But if there's just someone you are familiar with, and the email content is actually related to you guys talked about briefly before. So this is, sorry I didn't translate that into English. I'll briefly explain that. So the original email they see on the stolen accounts is say, official, the attachment is the contact list and for your reference. So that's the original email. That's someone sent it to, that's the sent copies in the victim's accounts. So a hacker using this send emails to send another email to this guy and say, official, and this is the update the contact list. Please receive and for your reference. So if you receive the first email before, then you see the second email. I don't think most people will really check if this email is legit or not. So you will just open it and open the contact list. And if you don't open the contact list, this is the second email they send. Said, you haven't opened the contact list because you haven't been hacked. So you haven't opened the contact list. Please remind you again, this is up the contact list, please open again. So they will send you reminders again. So let's make sure. So why are we finding this case? It's because a government secretary, government agency secretary received a social engineering email, and she feel weird. She said, I really didn't send that to someone, but they say I sent something. So we analyzed the header of mail and try to find the source. And the header shows that the mail sender is, the IP is from Hong Kong, and the hacker using the PHP mailers to send a fake Google website link, the one we talked about before, try to lure the people victim to hit the link. So the link looks like this. You can see the links. I know now the Google Clouds, they changed their URL to my accounts, but before it's accounts.googles.com. So the hacker smartly using the account 1-google.com. So it looks like accounts.google.com if you don't pay attention too much. So after you hit the links, then it will take you to this fake Google Cloud login screen, right? So it looks exactly the same. That's a really well made. And if you input any combination of account and password on that website, then the page will take the victims to the download page to download the real file. So you actually download a real file, so you won't get suspicious if this is it's a fake one. Yeah, most of the hackers, if you get to the link and it's a dead end, you immediately knows, oh, I might be hacked. But they usually actually take you to the real, the fake site, but download real files. So you might think, oh yeah, it's normal, and you won't get suspicious about it. And the interesting part is, we test in the different time, and it will result in the different file download. That means this page is still active. So the hackers continue to update the pages. So maybe he sent like a bunch of email regarding download this file in a certain time, then download the other file in a certain time. So when these people comes up, then they will download their file, and another one, they will download another file. And make sure everyone gets the file they're supposed to be getting, so they won't get suspicious about it. So from here, think about it. It's very, very smart way to do the social engineering. It's not like before, the hackers just send you an email and you immediately know that's a fake email. No, they are collecting more and more accounts and passwords about your relatives, your government officials, your superiors, and they send you an email, and you will receive it, and you won't get suspicious about it, and you open it, and you got hacked, right? So there's a second cyber trend that's even more wilder: contractor invasions. So what do I mean by that? As more and more government agencies in Taiwan have done a great job on the cybersecurity defenses, the hackers actually starting to getting very hard to hack into government agencies. So they focus their efforts on government contractors. So compared to government agencies, government contractors usually have weaker defense and lower restrictions and lesser security awareness, all right? So the contractor security is becoming a very critical issue in Taiwan as well as the whole world. you can see last year, like America's Target, Home Depot, and Neiman Marcus, their POS system got being hacked, and hackers steal a lot of millions of credit card informations. And the real reasons for that is their POS contractors have been hacked. So that's the same situation here. So I have two cases. So the first one is the hackers invaded information development company, information system development companies, and stole many files and documentations from the storage server. So once we got there and we do an investigation on it, and there were like 43 government agencies, 12 academy organizations, and 16 private sector information were being stolen. And most is very important ones, like notice of invitation to bid. So that's a project-related information, case documentation, and all the source codes being developed in this case. So why are the hackers doing this? So they stole all the source codes of your information systems, and which is still online and operated in the government agencies. They can easily read through those source codes and find the vulnerabilities and get in. Okay, the second case, a government agency was hacked, and many sensitive documentation will leak out. So there's 20 government project plans and 27 budget plans. Documentation was being stolen. Then after our investigation, and we found out that invasion is from its information service contractors. So the agencies actually give the information service contractors remote access privilege in order for them to do the maintenance service remotely. So that's a no-no. That's a no-no to do. So the hackers then use this to get because it's that contractor is this agency's actually this whole information service. So they have the web server passwords, they have AD administrators, they have the official document exchange system and mail server, and everything account and password is in this contractor. So then they're using the AD servers hack into all the personal computers in this agency and to steal information. So you can see the hackers hack into a contractor, and no matter how the agency's defense is so strong and well, but this is a backdoor, they just get in and the defenses have no use. So from here, you will think about, you have to really think about the security of your contractors. Yeah, and that's a very serious question to be think about. So the third one is the mobile scan. So a little bit background about mobile scan in Taiwan. So Taiwan National Police Agency actually set up a anti-fraud hotline. It called 165. So why it called 165? Because you dial 165 on your phone, you'll get to that number. And the web portal for awareness raising. So the 165 actually observed forecast is through the SMS for mobile devices. And then recently, last year, and the forecast through the messaging apps is surged since last February. So from the February to May last year, the mobile scan through the messenger app, particularly in Line, because that's the most popular messenger apps in Taiwan, as well as in Japan, I think. And and scammers actually using various methods using Line. It's not Line has the vulnerabilities, no. They are just using Line to do various scams. The social engineer victims and gain the profit. So that's the model. And they're using any like social networks or emails or other methods to get your Line's account and passwords, all right? Then after you got it, then the hackers will send out scam messages to all your Line friends. The first case being, they were sending a malicious app links. Saying, this game is awesome. Yeah, you really have to try it. So if it's from your friend, then, yeah, I will try it. Then you click on it, then you install that app. Thank God, nowadays apps still need your permission to install. So it's really hard to get people to install malicious apps unless it's your friend or someone you trust to make you install the apps. So after they install the apps, usually it's a backdoor, and they will steal your personal info on all your phones, contact list, and your phone number, and get all this info to do the micropayment scam. I believe everybody heard about the micropayment. It's the ISP or telecom. It's a small payment, so you can come with your phone bills. So the second one, the Line friends, your personal info, for you to receive an authentication code. And they will actually type in the messages, say, oh, I lost my phone. And can you receive this message for me? Oh, that's weird, okay. But if it's your friend, then you say, oh, yeah, of course. And then they send you an authentication code. Then actually, the way this is done is they ask about another company, and they want to make a payment. Then the company will send the authentication code, because that guy will first ask your phone numbers if they don't know. Then send it, and then the billing company will send the authentication code to the phone number you gave, the hacker gave them. Then they ask you to receive the authentication code and tell them, and they will input it on the website. Then, then the deal is done. So this is another one. The third one asks you to buy the game points for them. This one is kind of lame. Huh? Most people don't fall on this one, unless you are really good friends and you pay for it first, right? You pay for it first, then then you will give them the game points information, and they will exchange that game points to cash. So that's pretty stupid. All right. The fourth one. This is only happening in Taiwan, I guess, because he asks you to dial a certain phone number, which that phone number will establish the activate the routine selling account. Routine is like an eBay in America. Yeah. So then you become a legitimate seller and selling the things that not existing. And after the buyer think they are being scammed, and they will contact the company and call the sellers, and sellers you, because you call it, and the account is yours, all right? So what do we do about it? Actually, Apcert has cooperated with national communication commissions and national police agencies through the government ISAC. And we announced all the non-scam methods to all members and asked the antivirus companies to analyze all the malicious APPs and extract all the IPs from the APPs and block, report, and handle all the malicious IP traffic. And then we ask the mobile user don't install any APPs which is not from the official Apple or Google stores, and set the security option to not allow unknown source installation. And we also ask the mobile users to harden the line security options. Things like blocking messages which are not from known friends. Allow people to add you as friends automatically. And don't make line ID public. And only use line on one device, or if you only use line on one device, don't allow it login from PCs or other devices. So the last one is most important because we actually make the ISP to cancel the to make ISP change the micropayment enabled by default policies. Because in Taiwan, once you apply for a phone number, the micropayment options is automatically on, all right? So then we actually make them to disable that. So now it's the micropayment option is disabled by default. And if you want to turn the option on, and you have been required to go to their counters and apply for yourself, all right, if you really need it. So the conclusion, the social engineering has been a long-time problem for us, for everyone. And as more and more people get on the internet, more fresh and more less knowledge about social engineering, and the situation has gone even worse, all right? So Apcert actually continues to promote social engineering awareness to government agencies. And that's what we do, government cybersecurity seminars twice a year. Invite all the government employees to join the seminars and promote the social engineering, the ways how to do it and don't do it. And provide social engineering drill platforms for agencies to perform the self-drills. We actually have developed social engineering platforms, drill platform. And that's, it's really quite simple. It's on the cloud and it generates social engineering email. And then you can use it to send it to your agency employees. And you can count, say, who opened it, who opened the attachment, who just opened the emails. Okay, then you get the statistics and get them to come to your office and say, don't do that, all right? And so the second one is the security threat from the contracts that keep on raising. So currently, the Taiwan government is developing the government contract cybersecurity requirement standard right now, being developed. And now it's also required contractors to monitor own cyber events and report when the incident happens. And then the mobile scans are getting popular. So actually, the line cases, Apcert has cooperated with NCC and the law enforcement with GISAC and exchange all the scan information quickly. So we quickly quiet down all the mobile scan situation for this case within 4 months. And now it's 0 cases. But before the hackers can think of a smarter way to using messenger APPs, I think this scan will just continue. And this concludes my presentation. Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much. We've just had 2 really good speeches. Oh, don't go too far. If you could come back to, yes, thank you. That'll be great for any questions. Thank Thank you very much. That was Henry Yu from TWN CERT. Of the challenges that are happening with CERTs in Taiwan. We're going to also listen from Ms. Zhu Yunqian from CN CERT CC about the challenges that is faced from CN CERT's point of view. Please welcome Ms. Zhu Yunqian.
Thank you, Jeff. Hello, everybody. Good morning. I'm Yunqian Zhu of CERT. Very glad to make the speech this morning. My topic of the presentation. My topic of the presentation is China's cybersecurity landscape from the perspective of CERT CC. There are two parts in my presentation. The first one is about the cybersecurity landscape of mainland China. And the second part, I will introduce the CERT and the response we have taken to combat the cybersecurity threat. According to the published statistics of CNIC, as to 2014, there are 21 million domain names as to 2014, and 34 million websites, 649 million netizens, and 557 million mobile netizens by now. But by joint effort from the government and the industry and also the netizens, the cybersecurity in China stood a smooth situation, but from the data we got that the situation is still severe. So next, I will introduce the cybersecurity landscape in China from in the following aspects: Trojan and botnets, website security, mobile malware, and vulnerabilities. In 2014, there are a total of over 11.1 million compromised computers were injected with Trojans and botnets in mainland China. About 2.3% less than 2013. The map in the left shows that there are a lot of computers controlled by Trojan and botnets. It shows the distribution that the botnet has affected by the Trojan botnets. The right region has the more affected botnets, compromised computers. We found that the more economically developed area has more affected computers. We still found that more than 10 million infected computers were compromised by about 14,000 Trojan and botnets, command and control servers located overseas. The pie chart in left illustrates the distribution of the overseas command and control servers IP addresses in 2014. The top three locations of the command and control servers IP addresses were the USA, Hong Kong, and Korea. And the command and control servers in the USA controlled more than 3.9 million infected hosts in mainland China, which recorded the largest amount. It was followed by Portugal and Finland. It's still very severe in the terms of the website security. Moreover, website defaced in mainland China has reached to 37,000, and among which there are 1.8 thousand websites belong to the government. Moreover, the website planted with backup stores has reached to 40,000, and among which there are 1.5 thousand websites belong to the government. It's to be observed that in 2014, over 19,000 overseas IP addresses conducted remote control on over 33,000 websites in mainland China, and in terms of the IP addresses location, you can see that USA, Korea, Hong Kong top the first three places. They also found that the phishing pages targeted websites in mainland China has reached to 99,000. And about 7,000 IP addresses were involved, and 89.4% IP addresses of these phishing servers were located overseas, and you can see that in the left, in the left pie chart. We can also find that almost 1,000 IP addresses from USA loaded more than 10,000 phishing pages. In 2014, Census received about 18,000 reports of phishing, which account 31.8% of the total reports. So it's a large amount. So it's mobile malware. By 2014, there are over 300 third-party Android app stores in mainland China. And the mobile malware rose rapidly from that. According to the statistics, in 2014, Census captured more than 941,000 mobile malware. We found in the last several years, mobile malware becomes time growth, especially in the last 3 years. They also have a statistics about the malware according to the intention of the mobile malware. We found that the malicious fake detecting mobile malware stood the first place, and followed that is the fake consumption and stealing information mobile malware. We conclude that more and more hackers make mobile malware for personal interest. I think especially in China, maybe the the whole world. Also in 2014, Census recorded 9,163 vulnerabilities in total that have increased. And also the high-risk vulnerability, there are about 2,394. We conclude that from the graph that there is more risk, middle risk vulnerabilities than the other two kinds of vulnerabilities. We conclude that the progress of fixing vulnerabilities too slow to avoid risk. There are 4 reasons, we think. The first one is the network administrators are too busy to handle a lot of new vulnerabilities. And the second one, it should be very careful, but in fact it's not, to operate on the online system. The third one is it takes a long time to fix vulnerabilities. And the fourth one is both accumulated and new occurred vulnerabilities cause serious threat to information systems. So that's the statistics from Censored. Next, I will introduce the Censored and the responses we have taken to the cybersecurity threats. Censored is a non-governmental and non-profit cybersecurity technical center and under MIT in China. And Censored is also a single point of contact in mainland China for national search. We also a key coordination team for China's cybersecurity emergency response community. We take early warning as one of our main responsibilities. In 2014, we have got more than 800 information report from our domestic partners. And by analyzing cybersecurity information from multiple channels, we distribute the cybersecurity notification timely, and we get the incident analysis and summarize national landscape, and we provide technical assistance to the users, like critical infrastructure owners and operators. In 2014, we released more than 200 reports, including 42 weekly reports and 1 annual report, both English. Another very important responsibility is the emergency response. In 2014, the Censored handled more than 56 incidents. Also conduct a campaign of campaigns of botnet mitigation. I think one in per month. We take down 744 large-scale botnets and protect 982,000 infected hotnets. Also, we coordinated app stores to remove more than 8,000 malicious apps. In 2011, Censored has began to promote to establish Censored International Cooperation Partnership. By now, Censored has established a partnership with 144 organizations in 63 countries or regions. Okay, my presence has finished. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Zhu Yunchen, for the threat landscape of CNCERT as CNCERT CC sees it. I'd like to open the floor about any questions that you have for the panel up ahead. Anybody who wants to ask questions for any of these speakers, please come ahead. Go over to the microphone, please, and state your name, state your organization, and any questions you may have. Go ahead. Yes, please. No.
I'm Tim Barras from Vario Secure here in Japan, and I was surprised by the presentation in China, the number of vulnerabilities that are being detected, and I wondered if the same is occurring in other countries, that each CERT is discovering vulnerabilities in their own country, and I wondered if there's a central place where all those are being contributed, or if perhaps Apcert could become that place. Look at the NVD in the United States, and they're only showing, like last month, about 450 new vulnerabilities, with 180 that were high. So China is seeing maybe quite a lot more than that. So it would be useful, because of course the vulnerabilities aren't limited to a country. And it'd be useful for Apcert or someone anyway to collect all of those in one place. I wondered if anything like that is happening or could.
Okay. So, Stu?
We have some channels to get the vulnerabilities. So I think that is why we get more vulnerabilities than you said the number. Because we have partners in China, also domestic partner and also the national partners. So we got the vulnerabilities a lot. But you said we use the vulnerability also in the industry only, which exchange with the relevant industry or the vendors. But we inform the users, and that's the vulnerability we have the take to the others, but with not maybe not government. Mm-hmm.
What about Taiwan, TWNCERT? Do you take care of national vulnerability database, integrate it? I think that was part of the question.
Yes, whether it's all being done separately in the different countries, and whether there is or could be a place where all that information is brought together.
Yeah, actually, if we found the vulnerabilities from Taiwan, then we actually will report, because our team is actually analyze the vulnerability, particularly in Microsoft. And if we found it 0 days, then we will report to Microsoft immediately, and also issue the warning to our agencies. For international-wise, then if we don't really automatically publish all the vulnerability to the international partners, but if it's going to affect some partners, we will let them know. But we don't really publish everything to every partner.
Well, sure, there has to be some process, but.
Sorry, I want to add something. That we also have a website to share the vulnerabilities. If you need some information and you found that you don't know the solution, you can log in our website. Maybe you can have some. You can find something useful, I think.
I'll do that. But I just thought, for instance, the largest population of foreign residents in Japan is Chinese people. And so it'd be very useful for people here to be able to, well, in any country, of course, to be able to look and find these vulnerabilities, because otherwise we don't know. We have to look at every country.
So that's, I think, it's relaxed important to coordinate and the cooperation with different countries, especially in the third level.
If you could have that collaboration, that'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, sir. Please state your name, your organization, and your question. Thank you.
I'm Suresh Ramasubramanian, and here I'm advisor to MOG, the Messaging Malware Mobile Anti-Abuse Working Group, another operational conference just like Apricot is. So anyway, the numbers reported here, I was wondering how they are counted. Are these reported to certs, or are these gathered from, shall we say, more public sources like Camry, Shadow Server, and many others provide you feeds? If the number should actually be far higher in a country the size of China, let alone Korea or Taiwan. So that was what I was wondering. How are they classed? How are they counted?
So I'm not sure if it was just for a talk about. Was it just?
This was not specific to any one country. I'd like to.
All right. Okay.
Anybody who feels I'd be glad if there's an answer for this.
No?
Okay. Of course, we don't really, Dell SecureWorks does not count things or generate statistics in economy level. But in our countermeasures, we have tags that, internal tags that we categorize our countermeasures, such as detecting the mobile malware packets, APT-related malware packets, and commodity threat-related countermeasures. So how we analyze is by tagging those countermeasures with, rather saying that tagging, we categorize our countermeasures in different perspective and use those to generate our statistics and analysis. But can't say that we are covering majority of mobile specific vulnerabilities or malware. So whatever we has been reported, whatever we find in our constituency, then we do generate countermeasures and categorize it, and that's the way how we handle it.
I know I'm not one of the speakers, but I can talk about Apcert. We do get public feeds of information of things that are happening, because we have to keep an eye on things. But we verify any vulnerabilities that are happening in the actual constituency. But for that gentleman who's just asked the question, I think you'll find a lot of information from Yuri's talk with Cyber Green, where she may be talking about sourcing on the internet health metrics. So stick around for the afternoon. And next question.
Good morning. This is Gihan from Texas, Sri Lanka. It's from Arnold. I was wondering exactly where do you get these numbers from? Are they from PCs which are at your customers? Are they from servers, from a mix of them? How exactly what is the source of their data? And also, you have verticals. So exactly how did you figure out those verticals?
Okay, to answer your first question, where this comes from, these are the events that are being reported to us through our managed security services. It is.
So it's for customers who subscribe to your managed security services?
Yes, our clients mostly.
Right.
Although we do have our own product, IDS and IPS, our countermeasures are pretty independent and flexible to be ported to other existing solutions. So we still have a lot of clients or customer base who are not really actually using our product, but have our countermeasures planted, and that's how we get more and more data collected. So I hope that answers your first question. The second part, how do we categorize or how do we differentiate the verticals? So in terms of database perspective, we have device IDs and client IDs, and each client IDs are mapped, or their department IDs are mapped to the vertical based on their business or the character of that organization. So the vertical information is also really based on the client side, but the hostile or offending IP does not necessarily have to be our client's IP address, but has been seen from our client's network.
Thank you very much. Any more questions about the, that's it, please come in.
Yeah, simple question. This is Kiran Amchon from the KAIST. Like China's presentation or anybody else, you have an attack from the 20-some% from USA, Korea, whatever. What's the common sense or rule of thumb? How many percent is actually coming from those countries? Because many of them come sort of go through those countries. You have any common sense in this region? No, I'm not in a security area.
So I'm not sure if you're talking about using
for
reflection.
example, in China, 20% come from the USA, 6% come from the Korea. How many percent actually originate from those countries? Because many of them sort of go through piggybacking through those countries. I just want to know the common sense.
I'm very glad to hear this question. In my presentation, I think I used the words that IP address is located. We use located means that we are not mean that the tag is from the USA or the Japan or Korea. We use located is means that the IP address is located in this country. We can conclude that the DDoS or the other attacks are from this country. I think I agree with your idea that two different things, I think. Thank you. I don't know whether it's, but the statistics I think everyone got is is common the meaning, but it's still.
Actually, I agree. Actually, we really have no way to really count the real sources unless we can trace it to the end. But mostly we say certain attacks from certain countries that we means that certain victims or the compromised computers is located or IPs is located in that country. It's not necessary the attack is really from that machine. It may be from somewhere, but we maybe have no way to knowing that.
So I think everybody in this room understands that the statistics that we do present or generate are just what we see. I mean, what the packet says the source IP is. And we agree that it is not necessarily the attacker IP is the source IP address or the specific destination IP. But depends on the countermeasure or the character of the attack itself. If it is a phoning home countermeasure to a C2 server, then and it is downloading additional malware from that, I mean, we can definitely say, okay, this is a possibly compromised infrastructure that the adversaries are using. I mean, we can say it's not a UDP one-way reflection type of send it out type of attack. So it's a malicious IP. but not, that means those are the attacker IPs. Another effort that, when I talked about the CTP, our logic implemented correlation engine, has those, tries to correlate a series of events to see whether those same type of events in a very same timeline is handling, triggering in series. So not always the case that we can track it down. I mean, probably most of the cases we cannot track it down, but we do try, and sometimes we see the flow. So I can't really say what's the percentage of how we can, what's the reliability to say that, but based on the countermeasure, we can say it is a malicious IP address in others' perspective. Again, not necessarily an attacker IP.
Thank you very much. Do you have any more questions about the internet cyber threat landscape that is facing not only things that I hear is also some kinds of resolution to IPs, whether it is a source IP in TW and Dell Secure Works was talking about things that are coming out of this area, right? So the best way to take care of that, the first thing from the threat landscape is to be able to find out who it is. Now, there's a Whois network database that you could use. So if you have, if you could keep that up to date, that's fantastic. But again, if there's another point of contact, ask certs. Certs will have their contacts in their jurisdictions to be able to try to contact. So if you can't find who it is, you can't figure out on the Whois database, please try to contact a cert. Please, thank you very much. I hope you've understood a bit of the threat landscape that is facing the way that certs see it. Could you give a round of applause to all the speakers? Thank you very much. And I guess this concludes the first session for this morning. Please come back for the next section, which is incident response cases, so you'll see how things are being taken care of. Thank you very much.